Welcome to Kiddo and Janko Wednesdays at lunch.
Burger edition.
Oh boy, we got the giggles right off the bat.
I forgot what we were doing.
I'm Seba. This is Matt.
Hey.
And this week, Matthew suggested that we go to Deville Burger Bar. Is that the name of the place? Deville Dinerbar.
Yeah, well, I think I suggested we go to Burger Deville.
Okay. And what's the difference?
About $10 a burger.
So how'd you find out? How do you know about Burger Deville?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you mentioned it at one point, or when we were going through the
I was
list
definitely
of
talking about
burgers.
the other one. I was talking about the one we went to.
Yeah. But that's the one I was thinking of too, until I looked it up. And I was like, oh, they don't have one around. Maybe it closed. And I looked up what was on that street, and it was this other place that was very similar to Burger Deville, but it was called Deville Diner.
Okay. No, this was Deville Dinerbar.
This was Deville Dinerbar, which...
And the other one is called what? Deville's?
Burger Deville.
Oh, see?
Now, am I supposed to believe that they have nothing in common with each other?
I don't think they're related. However, maybe they are. And could it be Burger Deville as two words instead of like a last name Deville?
Yeah, the one further away from us, the cheaper one was
Burger Deville.
This one's Deville.
Yeah. Deville like a name. Deville
like Cruella
like
Deville.
of the city.
So one's... Yeah.
The one on Saint Laurent you're thinking is like the city.
Yeah.
This one is like Cruella.
Yes.
And this is really only because we wanted to go to Buns, which a couple of years ago had like a dozen locations around Montreal, and then they started dropping like flies. The one that I thought was still open on Saint Laurent, I called. Phone disconnected. I'm looking online to see if any of them are not marked closed in all caps.
Yeah.
Find that one, call it. Number's disconnected. I think Buns is all gone, which is crazy. It went quickly from not existing to here's one. Oh, it's great. They blew up. They got locations all around town, and then they just started dropping like flies. And it was a great burger. They were voted number one burger in Montreal a couple of years in a row.
Yeah.
How does that place go out of business if they've got a bunch of locations and the best burger in Montreal?
Well, I mean, I can tell you one reason.
Sure.
My only experience with Buns was having heard a lot about it and seeing the awards they won, and I went in one time to that one of the establishments, and they said they could still serve me, but they had run out of buns.
Oh,
So what am I going to get? I'm not just going to get fries or a
piece of
naked
meat
patty
in a basket.
Yeah. So I left, and then I never got another
went
chance.
back.
But yeah, I mean, it was in the name. You can't run out of what's in the name.
Yeah.
And they did. So maybe that just started happening a lot.
I mean, there were a bunch of times I'd had many of burgers from there, especially because I really liked the burger, and it was directly across the street from my comic shop. So sometimes I'd pop in to the burger joint, say, hey, I'd like one of these. I'm just running across the street. I'll be right back. Go to the comic shop, pick up my comic books, come back. I can eat a burger and read some Spider-Man. Everyone's happy. Well, I'm happy.
You're really the only one that matters in that scenario.
And that's all I need in life. A burger and some Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I'm a happy boy. So,
Wait, was Spider-Man the book you were reading, the comic you were reading once? Because you told me you read comics while you're walking.
okay, this was an exception. All
Okay.
right. So, we need a little context here.
Can't just let people think you're walking around reading comics and
all the time. No. Now we're going right back. In the year 2000, they launched a new version of Spider-Man, which was basically what if Spider-Man started now instead of the 1960s.
Okay.
And that was the main Spider-Man that I read all the way through. And in issue, I want to say it was past 150. It was like 160 something. So this comic came out a little more frequently than the usual monthly. So it was maybe 12 years instead of like 14 years. So like 12 years in, I've been reading this comic every time it comes out, basically every like 3-4 weeks or so, for years of my life. And then Spider-Man died. And the thing was, for the 6 months leading up, they were saying this story is called The Death of Spider-Man. I was like, I don't believe them. They're not going to go ahead and kill Spider-Man. He's Spider-Man. Then the last issue came out, and I was so excited to read it. And I'm reading it. I'm walking down the street, walking through a park when our friend Tito runs into me, and he's like, "Are you okay, man?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm distracted. I'm just reading this Spider-Man died. Spider-Man died," and he's like chuckling because I seem to be flabbergasted walking through the park, slack-jawed, reading a comic book, going, "I don't believe it. How could they kill Peter Parker?" Yeah, that's really that story.
So it's a shame it didn't sync up with another, tragedy or something that you could have played it off.
Like, so 9/11 happened. I'm walking around slack-jawed, and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, but Spider-Man died. Oh, that's why. Oh yeah, man."
No, but I feel you'd have the fortitude to, adapt to what Tito would say when he'd be like, "So you heard?" And it's like, "Yeah," and then he starts telling you, and you play it off that way.
Yeah, I heard about so and so's dad dying. Yeah, it's awful. So I don't have words. Don't have words.
I can really picture you walking down. Now, one time, it's the story is not as good, but I had taken, to be polite, I took a copy of The Watchtower from someone, handing it out on the street.
That the Stephen King?
Oh, no, Jehovah's Witness.
Okay, yeah, the Jehovah's Witness pamphlet.
Yeah. I wasn't just taking novels from people who just.
Well,
to be
no,
polite.
maybe it was someone saying like, "Oh, this is a great book, you got to read it." And you
it was
took
Stephen
from
King.
Him.
Yeah.
Dark Tower.
Dark
Stephen
Tower.
King.
There we go.
All right.
So the Watchtower, just a little pamphlet.
Yeah.
But I took it to be polite, and then I just started reading it as I was walking down the street. Had it open like I ended up walking right into a telephone pole.
Really?
Yeah, like you'd see in a cartoon or like a Mr. Magoo sketch or something.
With like like your legs sprung out and stuck directly forward ahead of you, and then you slowly slid down
in
the pole.
time. Yeah.
I know people who read like thick biographies and histories of wars while they're walking down the street.
No, I can't do that.
I can't do that. I don't have enough skill navigating a city that's full of bustling city, full of people, and able to read a whole page without getting distracted. Otherwise, I'm getting distracted. I'm probably just going to keep rereading the same parts.
Yeah, you can't enjoy it.
No,
but yeah, but they usually read it down a little bit, so it's down by their chest.
Yeah, like they're walking around with it in one hand, and it's kind of like mid body level, and they're walking around, they're glancing up, and they keep reading. I just don't have the focus, the concentration to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, you're probably safer for it.
So Deville Dinerbar, is where we went today. It was a beautiful day out. Went to Deville. We got there just about the same time. You were just ahead of me or right behind me. I'm not sure.
I was following you for a while.
We got a seat. I just jumped at the booth. Usually I would ask you, but I was like, I'm first in line. I'm going for the booth.
I was okay with it.
It was pretty comfy. I'll be honest with you. Pretty comfy. They brought us our menus. It's a bit of a swanky joint. A little trendy.
Yeah.
You're looking at me like you've never heard the word swanky.
No, just like it's the swankiest place we've been to. Now, I know I've talked about feeling privileged because we had a little wooden reserved sign on one of our tables, but this time was probably, I didn't feel like I fit in.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm wearing like a cruddy Super Mario t-shirt that I got from a Zellers like 15 years ago. It's got holes and bleach stains.
Yeah. I had to take my hat off. I wasn't going to do it. Normally I always do it, but I did it this time.
I don't know. It just felt right today.
Yeah.
And we got our menus. I got the drink list, which was too complicated. Right off the bat, there's a page for every day of the week, and it's like everything on this page is $2 discounted if it's that day of the week. Today was Hollywood night. Wednesday's Hollywood night. Why not? I guess so. And like, it was such a stretch to make it Hollywood. Like, okay, here's a martini. It's a little sweet, and they called it Craig's Martini or whatever. So after Daniel Craig's, we made a little sweet. Okay, whatever.
Man, I didn't even look at this.
That's a stretch. And then the last one on that page was like a lemonade, and they're like after the Little Rascals lemonade stand. I'm like, whoa, you're really reaching. You were just like, lemonade. What do we got? What can we think? Anything in any movie or TV show? Lemonade. It seemed like a real stretch.
People remember the Little Rascals. We could put that in. That's Hollywood.
Exactly.
There was the E backwards at least.
On Little Rascals, no.
No, on the lemonade.
No,
The
not
lettering
that either.
was all,
I did not remember where the E was backwards
Wow.
in regards to the Little Rascals lemonade stand. Because I like how you joked, because people remember that, and then you're like, now this detail, that's very specific.
Well,
was that accurate?
With any kid's lemonade stand, the E's always backwards. Lowercase E, the first E, and it's
Yeah.
It's
There's only
lemonade.
one E in lemonade, but yeah. And
You know
at
what?
the end, I feel like it should be backwards.
You know what? I don't think it's the E. I think it's the.
Oh, no,
it can't
there's
be
two
the
E's.
M. Can't
There's
be
an
the O.
E in lemon.
Yeah, so it is the second. It's the
It's the first
second
E.
E.
It's the first E that's backwards. You don't want the
first
last
E, the
letter of the
second
whole
letter.
thing to be back. We're going way off track here.
I'm gonna research lemonade stands. I'll get back to you.
Anyway.
So it's like a Da Vinci Code of a drink menu. You really got to decipher what.
I mean, what do I want? What do they? How have they categorized these things? Because here's the candy shop page. These are sweet cocktails. Here's the Hollywood page where some of them are sweet cocktails. They're just it's all a mishmash, whatever. Except one page that's their milkshakes with alcohol in them.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Milk and alcohol?
I'm not necessarily into that. I feel like only a few alcohols would lend themselves well to a milkshake. Because a milkshake, I don't know. I mean, you throw some Baileys or Kahlua in there, and maybe we're talking because it's sort of a creamy thing. It goes with the texture. But you can't just dump some vodka into a milkshake, as far as I'm concerned. Even though they're black Russians and white Russians that have milk in them, it's just not everything that works.
No.
Speaking of milk, I'm going to go sidetrack here.
Oh, I want to hear about the milk.
I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I only buy it when it's on sale because it's a very expensive cereal. This morning, fill my bowl with Cinnamon Toast Crunch, get out the milk, pour some in, they're chunks. This milk is not supposed to go bad for another 11 days. It's already gone bad.
Now, did you keep it in the fridge?
Yeah.
Because you got to keep your milk cold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. I think it maybe sat outside of the fridge for 10 minutes.
Okay. Collectively over time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's also when I bought it to when I got home. So let's say 20 minutes.
Shouldn't get to that point.
Exactly. It's supposed to go bad 11 days from now. I pour it and I see a chunk come out. I go, no way. Let me see the date. No way. Let me just see if maybe there's just a couple chunks floating on top. So I start pouring into the sink. The whole thing's chunky. Now, do I got to throw away a whole bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? An expensive, precious cereal? No, because I only got one chunk.
So what do you do?
And the chunk kind of floated to the bottom. What I did was I took the whole bowl of cereal, put it in the fridge, and next time I get milk, I will have a single chunk bowl of cereal.
Okay.
Because I'm not wasting all those Cinnamon Toast Crunches.
No, you shouldn't have to. It's better than what I thought you were going to do.
What were you thinking?
Just get the strainer out and then just get whatever good milk goes through the strainer. Keep the chunks in it.
Yuck. No, I don't know about that. I feel like once there are chunks, it's all bad.
It's all the way. It's just the way you perceive it. You know.
Yeah. I might even have to take that one chunk out before I pour more milk in.
Well, you should definitely do that. Why is that chunk even in there right now? If you could take that chunk out, why isn't that?
I guess theoretically, I could start taking out all the Cinnamon Toast Crunches, put them in a new bowl.
I feel like they're worth it.
That's what I should, and then only lose a couple ones that it's sitting on or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do that. You should pause this and do that right now.
No, I'll do it later. Okay,
I'll remind you.
So, Cinnamon Toast Crunch too, man.
So you had no breakfast today?
No, so I ended up having a couple breakfast burritos.
Okay.
Very different. I looked in my fridge. I was like, oh, yeah, I made Mexican ground beef late last week, beginning of this week. I should probably eat it.
Yeah.
Before it goes bad.
Yeah.
So it was good timing in that regard. So we opened the menu at Deville. Flip over to the burger page. There are, maybe...
8?
9. And then there was the big sucker or whatever it was called. The big boy. Big bad boy.
Big guy. Big guy.
That looked like a monster burger. The burger that one of them caught my eye was called Inside Out